Happy Labor Day, everyone. See, I was thinking, uh, I did a little bit of research on Labor Day since I was like, what exactly is it? So apparently 1882 in New York City was the first Labor Day. And the idea was to honor and acknowledge the, back then, mainly blue collar workers that were doing all the jobs to keep the city running. And since then, the first Monday in September every year is carved out for uh, workers, or and I was thinking, what is the connection here between work and identity and what we do? So this is Adam Grant. He's a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. uh, your work does not define your worth. A career is what you do. It doesn't have to reflect who you are. And so I think teasing apart this idea of, oftentimes when you meet someone new, at some point in the conversation, there's that question of like, so what do you do? And really, I think what the other person is angling for is some kind of to figure out sort of how to place you or how to label you and say, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a homemaker, I'm a, fill in the blank. And it gives us some perspective on or an idea of who you are. And of course, that also feels really strange on some level because it's to Adam Grant's point here, just because you do a certain kind of work doesn't mean that that defines who you are. And so I thought it'd be interesting to explore again that connection between doing and being, because on the flip side, I think there also is a connection between things that we do repeatedly do on some level begin to create a kind of identity of who we are. So if you're the person that sort of acts out in frustration and anger a lot of the time, people around you at some point are probably going to point their finger and say, "Oh, that there's Ollie. He's the angry guy, right?" Because he does anger a lot, and he seems to do it quite well, and therefore you become the angry person. So on the flip side, how do we turn that into sort of an identity of the sort that we actually want and that is useful? And that's, I think, where these values come into play. So if we are what we repeatedly do, then can we do the kinds of things that we want to be the labels that create a sense of identity or yeah. So to me, it's usually these kinds of things, compassion, responsibility, authenticity, love. These are the things that when we do them frequently, when we bring these values to the table on a day-to-day basis, it becomes who we are. And for some of us, I feel really blessed that this is my work. My vocation actually includes all of these very front and center. But I know it doesn't have to be the case for everyone. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling here. Let's spend some time exploring values and just this connection today on Labor Day of, what is it that we do a lot and how do we feel about it? So start by closing your eyes. Just taking a moment to settle in to right here, right now. I'm noticing breath, also noticing temperature. It's been really hot here in the Bay Area. Noticing sounds, noticing the body breathing, noticing the brain thinking, and just settling into that part of us that has the ability to be curious and open, just present. And then let's explore this. question that so often comes up, especially when we meet new people. So what comes up for you when the question is posed? So what do you do? And just notice what comes up. How would you describe what you do? And how does it feel to describe yourself in that way? Like, does it feel comfortable, easeful, or is there, some kind of discomfort or friction in there? But hey, it's great to meet you. Tell me about yourself. What do you do? And then also noticing if that definition, those words that come up, those descriptors, are they tied to a specific vocation or a career? I know some of you don't have traditional jobs, at a company with a paycheck, but does that make what you do any less interesting or noteworthy, or just noticing if there's any societal norms or cultural things that come up about how you describe what you do? I think it was there's a story about John Lennon when he was a kid, and in school they asked him, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" He said, "Happy." It's probably not the type of answer that they were looking for, but it's actually a really good way of, I think, making this point around the values. Like, what is it that we do or want to do? How is it informed by what we hold dear and valuable in life? And so just going back to the words or the descriptions that came up initially when I asked, what do you do? Many of those words fall into fall into the same bucket or overlap with some of these core values that might be at the center of who you'd like to be or who you want to be. If you notice any sort of difference or space between those words that describe what you do versus these core values that you hold dear, so see if you can lean into the question of, okay, so what can I do differently, or what are things that I can do more frequently that would align me better or closer with these core values? What is it that I could do more frequently, more often, more consistently that would help me be the kind of person that I'm imagining I'd like to be? If you notice any resistance or any negativity around that, just see it for what it is. It's just a judgment by the mind. And then maybe just keep leaning into what's possible. If I acted on my core values of ABC and did that on a more regular basis, then sort of feel into how that might change your sense of identity and who you are. And then take a deep breath in through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth. Just relaxing into the exhale, letting go. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another inhale through the nose. Long, slow exhale through the mouth. Relaxing the shoulders, the hands, the belly. Let go. And hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes, coming back to the session. Yeah, hope that all sort of kind of made sense. I realized I was sort of mixing a whole bunch of different things together there, but yeah, hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.